Imagine this for a moment. Every decision you have ever made, every word you've spoken, every mistake, every triumph, every regret, what if none of it was truly chosen? What if your entire life was already written? Not by destiny, not by a god, but by mathematics. Centuries ago, Isaac Newton imagined a universe that functioned like a perfect clock. Once set in motion, it would tick forward with absolute precision. Every particle would obey fixed laws. Every effect would have a cause. And every future event would already be implied by the past. In such a universe, randomness doesn't exist. Only inevitability. Newton's laws of motion and gravity didn't just explain how objects move. They suggested something far more unsettling. That if you knew the exact position and velocity of every particle in the universe at one moment in time, you could calculate the future forever. Not just the motion of planets, not just the fall of an apple, but you. Your brain is made of particles. Your thoughts arise from electrical signals. Your emotions follow chemical reactions. And if those particles obey physical laws, then so do your thoughts. Which leads to a terrifying question. If physics determines matter, and matter determines the mind, where does free will fit in? This idea later became known as determinism. The belief that the universe unfolds according to fixed rules, leaving no room for genuine choice. In a deterministic universe, the feeling of deciding is real. But the outcome was never in doubt. You don't choose your actions. You experience them. From this perspective, free will becomes something like a user interface. It feels interactive. It feels personal. But underneath, the system is already running a script. You press buttons. But the code was written long before you arrived. Some thinkers pushed this idea even further. They imagined a hypothetical intelligence, sometimes called Laplace's demon, a being that knows the position and momentum of every particle in the universe. To such an intelligence, the past and future would be equally visible. Your birth, your death, your next thought, all calculable, all unavoidable. If that's true, then fate isn't mystical. It's mechanical, not prophecy, but physics. But here's where things get even more disturbing. If your choices are predetermined, what happens to responsibility? Can you be blamed for actions you were always going to take? Can you take credit for achievements that were mathematically inevitable? Is morality real, or just another emergent illusion produced by deterministic systems? At this point, many people try to escape by saying, even if the universe is deterministic, I still feel like I choose. But feeling free isn't the same as being free. A train doesn't choose its destination, even if the passengers argue about which way it's going. And then there's the deeper implication. If everything is predetermined, then history itself could not have unfolded differently. Wars were inevitable. Discoveries were unavoidable. Even resistance was part of the equation. The universe didn't allow these events. It required them. But before we accept this cosmic prison, something unexpected happens. Physics itself begins to rebel. In the 20th century, quantum mechanics shattered the neat clockwork universe. At the smallest scales, particles behave unpredictably. Outcomes can only be described by probabilities, not certainties. Events happen without clear causes. Suddenly, the future is no longer perfectly calculable, and determinism cracks. But here's the twist. Randomness doesn't save free will, because a decision caused by randomness isn't chosen either. If your actions are determined, you're not free. If they're random, you're still not in control. Either way, you're not the author. So where does that leave us? Some philosophers propose compatibilism, the idea that free will and determinism can coexist. That freedom doesn't mean breaking physical laws, but acting according to your internal motivations, even if those motivations were caused. You're free because you act as you, not because you escaped physics. Others take a darker view. They suggest consciousness itself may simply be the universe, observing its own inevitable unfolding. You're not making choices. You're witnessing causality from the inside. And then there's the most unsettling possibility of all. What if Newton's cosmic clock was never dismantled, only hidden beneath layers of complexity? What if the universe is still deterministic, just too complex for us to calculate? Not free, just unknowable. If that's true, then fate isn't written by stars or gods. It's written in initial conditions. The universe began once, and everything since has been a consequence, including this moment, including this thought, including you watching this video. So ask yourself, are you choosing your future or uncovering it? Are your thoughts spontaneous or inevitable? And if free will is an illusion, is that terrifying or liberating? Because if nothing could have happened differently, then nothing you've done was a mistake, and maybe the cosmic clock has been ticking all along,